What's up, witches? Welcome to my channel. I'm Luna, and I'm here for a tarot unboxing today. And if you have watched my other unboxing videos, you will know that over the last year, I have taken my first steps into buying mini decks. I've always been very attracted to them, but never bought them. And with each of those unboxing videos, which I will link below, I learned something valuable. With the Golden Tarot of Klimt, I learned that the artwork was so beautiful that I wanted the standard size deck. With the Tarot of the New Vision, I learned that only the standard size deck came with a really full book and descriptions of how the cards were reimagined. And with the Universal Weight Tiny Tarot, I learned that Mary Hanson Roberts had another deck, and I needed to have the full-size version so that I could actually shuffle it and see the artwork. So the overarching lesson here is that every mini deck has made me want to buy the standard size. So we will find out today if that rule holds true with the Tarot of White Cats. And this is an LS deck, Lo Scarabeo. And their mini decks come in these wonderful little linen finish, sturdy two-part boxes, which I really appreciate. When they first started putting out mini decks, they would come in a standard tuck box, which are pretty flimsy, and you might know that I tape all mine up to keep them together. So the artwork on this is by Severino Beraldi. 78 tarot cards with instructions. Do we have? No, we don't have a copyright there. No surprises inside. Here's the LWB. The copyright on this is 2020. So I think the deck, I don't know if that's just the copyright for the mini or how that goes. But let me look at the... Okay, usually those Scarabeo decks have more information on the inside back or on the actual back cover, but this is it. Artwork by Severino Beraldi. We don't have any information on the meanings and who authored that. So let's take, and we go straight into the major arcana. It says, Tarot of the White Cats, is there any animal more magical than the cat? Boom, here comes the Fool. And in this booklet, as with all Lo Scarabeo decks, we have more than one language, and in this one we've got 6: English, Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Russian. And look at how, if we can get this there, here's the Fool. Someone advises on how to prevent a ruinous downfall. 1, the will to succeed is fundamental. So these meanings are bare bones and not standard, not typical. So we have just a little section on each of the suits of the minors. And at the end, there is a reading called The Cat's Eye, which, as Lo Scarabeo usually does, they give the format of this on the front page. So whatever language you're reading, you refer back to the same image. So we might take a look at how that reading lays out. But I'm not putting a lot of stock in this book right now because it is so minimal. So I would say that the rule is true already, because I already want the standard size so I can see the writing. We have, here are our card backs. Very cute. They are not directional. You've got a little kitty on each. And then we have the Lo Scarabeo face card, and we have the Tarot of White Cats title card. So you get 2 cards which serve very well for blocking cards. All right, let me zoom in. I'm not going to zoom in terribly close because they don't tend to be really in focus. BRB. Okay, hopefully that's close enough for you to see, because if I go any closer, it's just going to be not clear. Here we have the Fool, and this is really cute because the Fool is a dog, and instead of the dog biting at his heel, we have a cat. Everything else is standard. He's on the edge of the cliff, the way he's facing, the bag over the shoulder. Everything else conforms with the standard Fool. But I'm seeing something in the sky here. Let me get my handy old lady with failing eyes thing here. That's the moon. Okay, so we see both the moon and the sun in the sky. challenge. Okay, there we go. Very interesting. There's the Fool, the Magician. There's a lot more motion in these than in the standard Waite-Smith. So we've got the cat magician floating the wand, and we've got the tools. These have borders on the inside, so the images are even smaller than they would be, you know, if there were not a double border on these cards. One of the things I have not done yet, and probably will not ever do, is cut borders off of cards because what a mess. Here's the High Priestess. Oh, she's adorable. So again, we have standard imagery with white cats inserted, so we can go through this pretty quickly. Pardon me. Here's the Empress. They're beautiful little kitties. There's also a Black Cats Tarot by Los Garbeo that I've been coveting too because I need all the cat decks. Here's the Emperor. The Hierophant. This differs in that he's facing the side rather than front with the supplicants in front of him. So we've got two other kitties, a gray and an orange, serving the white cat. Here we have the Lover's card. Okay, so no white cats on this one. So then I wonder about the title. And yes, they're adorable. I think this would probably land on my adorable decks list. Here's the Chariot. Look at the cats. Look at the ones pulling. They are so cute. There we go. Come on. Open Sesame. There we go. Yes, they're adorable. All right, let's clip along here. Here's Justice. The Hermit. The Wheel. Ooh, I like this. The wheel is a spinning wheel. So, pardon me, big allergy time. Interesting that we have this conformity of, you know, they're exactly like the Waite-Smith, and then boom, you get something that really deviates. So Wheel of Fortune, we see a cat sitting at a spinning wheel, and we see mice going up one side and down the other. Look at this. Look at the Strength card. So this, they're really depicting actual physical strength because the cat is inside holding open the lion's mouth. So I guess it does also give me an idea of even if you're small, you can manage things much greater than your physical strength. If you see the lemniscate above the head, the infinity sign, if you are in that connected, place, connected and peaceful and, all of that, that you can handle things much larger than your physical abilities, seemingly. And here's the Hanged Man, the Hanged Cat. Here's Death, again, a deviation. So Death card, really interesting. We've got a treasure chest. We can see a skeleton tail poking out and a skeleton hand. And then this lightning-tossed, storm-tossed sea. So are they on a boat? Is that ashore? I don't know. Very interesting. Here's Temperance. There's definitely, as I said at the beginning, a very dynamic quality about these. And the Devil card, and you're asking, why didn't you just zoom in? Because the zooming in makes a big difference in the resolution. There's the Devil Cat. And again, it's not all white cats, so kind of curious there. There's the Tower. Pretty standard. The Star. The Moon. With the doggies in the background. The Sun. A cat on a little rocking horse. Look at the cat in the sun. That's very cute. Yes, very cute. Judgment. Little, oh goodness. Okay. So we've got little cat angels up in the sky, which are adorable. And then we have the World. So we have 4 different kinds of cats. There's like a orange cat and a Siamese and a red tuxie and a black cat. And now the cups. Here's the Ace of Cups. That's the image on the back. The 2, 3, the 4. Oh. Again, these are very standard. 5, the 6, which is wonderful. It's familiar, and it tells me that I don't need the bigger book to get the meanings that I need out of these cards. Since the images aren't greatly reimagined, I don't think that any sort of more fleshed out written meanings are going to be very much different from the standard. So here's the 10, the Page. No fish coming out of the Page's cup. That's kind of disappointing, but there's fish in the sea there. There's the Knight, the Queen, and the King. And, you know, they conform to the standard down to the shape of this cup that the Queen has. She always has a very ornate cup on the Queen. Here's the Ace of Pentacles, the 2, oops, the 3, the 4, again, very standard, 5, 6. I'm sorry, it keeps going in and out of focus. I'm not sure why that is. Oops. The 7, the 8, the 9, and the 10. Here's the Page, the Knight, with his horse kind of jumpy. That's a deviation. The Queen, and the King. Get the snail. So I'm just going to point out where there's like major deviation. Ace of Wands. Look at the cat scratching. That's great. There's the 2. There's the 3. Are there ships in the background? No, there are not. Okay, that's a difference as well. Here's the 4 of Wands. Here's the 5, 6. They are, harder to handle because they're small, even though I'm not doing a great deal of manipulation of them here. Here's the 7, the 8. It's cool we see a cat in there rather than just the wands flying through the air. There's the 9 and the 10. The Fiery Knight, the Queen, and it's interesting because this Queen usually has a cat in her lap, and the Queen is the cat. Okay, King. Then we have the swords at the end. So difference here, instead of just a sword being held up, we see a cat being knighted. There's the 2 with the blindfold, the 3. Again, we see a cat in it rather than just the heart. There's the 4. Slightly different angle, but still the same. The 5, 6, 7, Thieving Kitty, 8. Okay, interesting that she's bound to a tree. That's usually not the case. The 9, the 10. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to look this one up in the book because this is very much a deviation. We've got this cat running away. All these swords piercing, but they're piercing just a blanket-like. And you get the idea that the cat made it through and crawled out from under there because of that cat. Very interesting. Okay, let me take a look here. If the pages will cooperate. There we go. Swords. Okay. 10 says, even the most tragic situations contain something positive. Boy, is that ever a pulling of the punch of the 10 of Swords. Here's a Page of Swords. I have a problem with that kind of I see it as maybe toxic positivity, because to have the entire range of life experience represented in a deck, we have to acknowledge that sometimes things are shitty. Sometimes there's utter failure. Sometimes we're devastated. Sometimes there's a tragic loss, and something needs to represent that in the deck. So, the sun coming out here, it's like, okay, yeah, total failure, but look, you made it out okay. I don't really like that. There's the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. All right, my charcoal is lit. Let's give this a bit of a blessing, shall we? I would like to know who has this deck and uses it. Like I said, I think it would be a very adequate stand-in for any standard Waite Smith type decks, because it is so similar and very easy to just, walk away from whatever meanings are in this book. But again, I'm curious. So I want to know, if you have the standard size of this deck, is there anything additional in the book as far as meanings go? All right. Let's give it a little bell to clear out any negativity. I'm clearing my mind as well. Okay, looks like where I got the wet on the edges, it's gone dark. That's weird. Did I have something to... Anyway. Okay. Let's say hello and welcome to guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. Help me, please, to connect with this deck and get a very good reading out for my wonderful viewers. I offer you fresh water. I offer you the fire of Azrael to bring the spirit of divination into this deck. And let's, I am going to try one riffle shuffle. I know how this is going to go. And maybe I don't. That riffled better than, ooh, look at this. I had to have had charcoal on my fingers, because that is, I may have to edge this deck to get rid of. Did you see what happened there? Bollocks. Oh well. Right. So one riffle was good. I'm not going to do any more, because with these mini decks, riffle shuffling tends to bend them and they don't go back, because they're smaller. You really, and thick compared to the this size. This size is standard. This size is smaller, so it's hard to bend them. We've had the Seven of Cups fall out, so I'm going to use that kind of as a setup for the reading. Let me make sure I didn't flip any more around. And let's look at this cat's eye spread and see if we want to give that a test run. And I need my thing again here. This divining method can be used to provide an answer for personal doubts or those of the querent. Fan out the cards, have the querent choose 3 and place them in a vertical row. These are the cards indicated in the figure on page 2 with ABC. Do the same with the major arcana. Oh, wait. Hold up. Do the same with the major arcana and have the querent choose 3, laying them out as shown in figure on page 2. These are 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it does not say fan out just the minors and pick ABC and then fan out, and then it goes. So, yeah, confusing already. We will not use this. Or maybe we will, cards 1, 2, and 3. So A is what we desire, B is what we fear, C is what we don't know. A is a difficulty that must be overcome, or 1, a difficulty that must be overcome, 2, help that must be searched for in oneself or others, and 3, a judgment concerning whether the querent's desire will be realized. Okay, let's do that. So the Seven of Cups flying out just really frames things as confronting our illusions. There's choice before us, and if you're watching this on the day I'm publishing it, which is Monday, November 7th, 2022, you will know exactly the choice that is ahead of us tomorrow. But it can talk about confusion. It can talk about the emotional upheaval when we have a lot of choices ahead of us and don't know what to choose, particularly when some of those choices really are illusionary or delusional, you know. So we do need to confront and sort of weed out what is unrealistic. That's the first message. And I'm not going to reverse these because I usually don't read reverses, but with the little one sentence or one phrase meanings in the book, you know, clearly there's no range of meanings and there's certainly no straight up reversed reading. Straight up reversed. Here's another one that flipped, and that's Ten of Swords. Oh goodness. And then the Hanged Man. Okay. So I just want to say, sorry to be topical, but I want to say that anyone that is looking for great overall resolution on Election Day, that is an illusion that we are going to have. We've already had challenges before the election is even here. We're having states where the Republican Party is suing to reject certain votes. So more of that to come. So we're just getting little warnings, but I do want, and I want to ask the deck for, please, a more overall reading here, not just about our topical times. And I'm going to grab a little piece of frankincense and put it right there because I need that smell in my life right now. All right. So we have ABC and we have 1, 2, 3. And I am going to spread and pull like they suggest. So I'm asking my guides now to just guide my hand to the right cards. To know, the question is just what do we need to know right now, where we are today, in a more general sense, in a broader sense, in a more relatable sense than just a specific topical event. So what do we need to know? Let me put both my feet on the floor. I tend to sit on a foot. Okay, what do we need to know right now? Please guide my hands. 1, oops, we got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we got our 6. So I'm glad I shuffled well before I spread. So here's the A, B, C. And here's the 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh. We have, this is fascinating, nothing but majors and courts. So let me tune in to what the message is here just by the cards that have been selected, just majors and courts. Well, majors, we know this is about major life stuff. This is big sort of soul level issues, big karmic things that we're dealing with, and the lack of minors says that this isn't about just everyday life and details of things. It's about people and karmic things, the karmic things that people are dealing with, that we're dealing with as human beings on this planet. All right, so I am going to look these up just to see what we get. So A is what we desire, and we have temperance. And what do we desire? We desire uniting very diverse ideas, or it says uniting very diverse ideas or people is difficult. So right off the rip, we are looking at trying to unite, unite our very divided world right now. I'm not even going to say our divided country. The entire world has been polarized and divided over the last chunk of years. So what we desire is unification, but temperance is letting us know that this is a really tricky and almost unachievable thing. That 7 of Cups that came out first is telling me that it is an illusion to think that we're ever going to have a time when all humans agree on anything. I think it would take something utterly across the board catastrophic in order for that to happen. What were the other ones I picked? It was Ten of Swords, and what was the other one, you guys? Not like you can tell me, but you know. Was it Ten of Swords? Oh God, I don't remember. Anyway, never mind. But the illusion card, I think, is really key here. All right, the second card represents what we fear. We have the Devil. So the Devil is about manipulation. The Devil is about dominance, force, and control, right? The dominance. I've had a terrible time making words the last couple of days. The Devil is about toxicity, toxic behavior, trauma, toxicity from trauma. Let's read. This one says, instinct can be good or bad advisor. Okay, instinct can be a good or bad advisor depending on the circumstances. Instinct can be a good or bad advisor depending on the circumstances. Okay, so what do we fear? The written meanings in this book do not apply to the categories as they're stated. So I'm going to read them and then I'm going to disregard them. I just want you to know the way they are in this deck. So what do we fear? The Devil. Yeah. We fear the toxicity that's pulling strings. We fear manipulation. We fear underhandedness. All of that stuff. Rightly so. The third category, C, is what we don't know. And we have Page of Swords here, which is called the page on the card and the knave in the book. Inconsistency drives me nuts. Even mercenaries are needed at times. So what we don't know, mercenaries. What we don't know is, and Page of Swords can talk about insight and truth and really going for the truth, but the idea of a mercenary here says that broadly, there are those that are in the game because of what they can gain financially. It's not about justice. It's not about freedom. It's not about any of those things. It's about money, being paid for what I'm doing, and power, with the Devil and the Page of Swords together. And that word, that keyword mercenary that they gave me, it's about power. It's about, and power is over truth here. If we look at the Page of Swords as getting at the truth, we're seeing that what we fear, the power plays and the manipulation that we fear is going to dominate over the truth. I don't like that. Okay. 1, a difficulty that must be overcome. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which says, all that glitters is not gold. Yeah, these meanings are just kind of like, Page of Pentacles to me is about learning, study and learning in practical, concrete terms. So, a difficulty that must be overcome. I guess maybe things that we don't know. And you know what? I am going to take a hit on this page. Right off the top, we have the Star. So something that must be overcome. Well, let's read the Star. Used in the right way, new ideas will sprout forth. All right, the Star card talks about hope, inspiration, looking up, and the Page of Pentacles talks about study and learning. So I would say here something we need to overcome. Let's see, it doesn't maybe overcoming our, going back to the Seven of Cups and illusion, overcoming our sort of willful optimism that maybe denies what we have learned. We've learned that there is toxicity in our global political systems. We have learned that there's incredible corruption there. And still, we hope against hope. So I think that we need to overcome blind hope and really keep our feet grounded in reality and the lessons of the past that we've learned. That's the best I can do out of this one here. The number 2 card, help that must be searched for in oneself or others. So we have the Knight of Pentacles here. Give free rein to the desires of many people. Help that must be searched for. Give free rein to the desires of many people. Help that must be searched for. I keep getting pulled back to the topical here. Give free rein to the desire of many people means not restricting the vote. This has been going on, but giving free rein to the desires. And this cat's looking back here, so I guess we have to put out this blast of hope and give free rein to it, but we have to stay grounded in the lessons that we've learned in the past so that we don't get set up to have an utter crash when our hopes are not completely fulfilled. All right? Temperance. We have to temper our hope with reality. Okay, that's clear. And then the last card, a judgment concerning whether the querent's desire will be realized. And we have the Emperor. So, acting with an iron fist in a velvet glove helps preserve power. That's not really reassuring. Okay. Will our desires be fulfilled? An iron fist in a velvet glove. So what I'm getting here is that sometimes you cannot pussyfoot around. See what I did there? It's a cat's deck and we're not pussyfooting. Okay, so sometimes we really do have to be more forceful and more unyielding in how we approach something. But that doesn't mean we have to be awful about it. We can be kind, but not acquiescent. And those of you that live in the U.S. will know exactly what I'm talking about here. We can be kind, we can be compassionate, but we don't have to be wishy-washy. We don't have to be so kind that someone else can come and roll over us with their dominance and, their force and meanness. We can be resolute, we can be powerful, and we can still be kind and compassionate. Wow. Okay, so, I managed to wrestle a reading out of this, but not based on the meanings in the book. And I do want to take one more here. I wanted to take one more on this page because he wasn't very clear what the querent doesn't know. And we have the Tower. Yikes. 16. Optimism will facilitate climbing back up from the darkest abysses. So there we have that positivity again. Optimism will facilitate climbing back from the darkest. So, and then we have the optimism showing up. So, what we don't know is the outcome of things. We do know that there's going to be some positive things and some terribly negative things. And optimism will stand us in good stead, but some things are going to crumble and fall. And the Tower is not necessarily a bad card all the time, and this isn't toxic positivity. This is saying that The Tower indicates to me that something has been outgrown, that something that's been built over a long time is calcified and is unbending. It's unworkable because we cannot, the structure is has so solidified and it's so concrete that it cannot grow with us. You know, it's not adaptable. And so when we're growing inside of it, we're pushing and it can't bend, so it crumbles instead. This is saying that we have outgrown old things and there is pain involved in these things going away because they crumble and fall, and then we feel like we're going to be left without structure for a while. But to me, what we need to know is it needs to fall. It needs to crumble and fall. The old ways do. And that there is optimism coming afterwards. And okay. All right, you guys, that was kind of topical, but we will see how things come out. Let me know what you thought of this deck. And again, let me know if you have the standard size of this, and if the book goes any further, it better in meanings. Like, do they give reverse meanings? Are there just keywords? What's up with that? I might actually take a look at some flip-throughs and unboxings of this standard deck to see if I can get that question answered. But in the meantime, please hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you'll know when I drop new content. Check out my channel for live streams that come at least once a week. And I will see you on the next one. Until then, blessed be. This is Luna. See you later.